Can we buy, fix and sell a car for profit? We bought this Mark 7 Fiesta for £500. The car failed its MOT and was left outside ever since. Before it even gets into the garage though, it needs a clean because as you can see it's a little bit green in places.
Stuart! Yes, mate.
Fiesta, what do we think?
It's alright. It's a bit rougher in the edges. It's had a hard life at one point.
But it's a car.
It's pretty solid actually. It's cleaned up really well.
I mean,
it's rough, aye. Yeah, the paintwork is a bit sandpaper. It was very green before we cleaned it. A bit of polish, shining. And it will clean up to be a nice wee car, I think.
Cool. Where are we starting?
First step's to get this off the ground, get the wheels off, get the bumper, bonnet off, start looking for hidden damages. I think we're going to have something at the front. We'll see when we get to it, but
most likely these are just made of plastic at the front. So
we'll go through this from front to back and just make sure it's going to be a nice wee car for someone.
Cool, let's get it up. Issue number 1, can't get the fuel keys off.
Yeah, the lockers are stuck.
So yeah, we can't even get the wheels off to get the car in the air.
We've got two.
Yeah, we've got two after a long while, but 2 to go.
We'll get there.
I really hope this isn't forewarning as to how this is going to go. Yeah, so.
Slipper.
While Stuart struggled with the wheel nuts, I thought I would help get out of his road and start taking out the seats. Now that the seats were out and Stuart had finally managed to get rid of all those locking wheel nuts, it was time to chalk those front wheels, jack up the car and get it on axle stands. Good to be careful where you jack these old Fiestas. They're getting to the age where they're a bit soft in places. We always jack it up by the axles and use the sills for the axle stands.
So the slam panel itself, as you can see, there's a fairly bad crack in it. It's also in the crash, it pushed the mountings about ½ an inch back, which in turn had pushed the radiator back.
So what you're saying is we need a new one?
Yeah, so we definitely need a new slam panel. We can get away with the crash bar. The crash bar's actually not been touched. That's in pretty good condition. But the plastic Bakelite slam panel is cracked in the impact. Apart from that, the front of the car's actually really good condition. It's a bit dirty, but there's no other damage we've seen. Radiator, aircon radiator looks good, there's no leaks. Aircon still works. There's no coolant leak, we've still got full coolant in the tank. It definitely looked a lot worse than it actually is. I think we've got away quite luckily.
It was at this point I decided to take the taillights out. You ever find yourself doing this job, it's a good thing to note. There's a wing nut on the back of the taillights. You can reach this by reaching under the plastic that holds up the parcel shelf. Also, it was very tight, so perhaps use a wing nut spanner or a pair of pliers like we did. Done quite well tonight.
We've been hard at it. That's been 3.5 hours. It's not too bad. With a bit of problem with the locking wheel nuts. On 2 wheels, I heard. They were killing my soul. But once they came off, actually the car fell apart, to be honest. Yeah. Someone snapped the bolt.
Sure.
Apart from that, everything else was actually fine. And to be honest, the bolt you snapped was in a part of the place. So I've got a wee list of everything we need to get.
And there's not much, is there? Realistically, it's not too bad.
It's not too bad at all. So the rundown is, the front bumper is actually savable. The bumper didn't
it looks like
damage at all. Needs a lower and upper grille, and that's replaced that. Front slam panel is destroyed.
Yeah.
It's cracked in multiple places. It took a good brunt, but the crash bar's surprisingly not got a mark on it. So whatever the person hit, it's missed the crash bar and the slam panels took the hit.
Nice.
So we need a full slam panel, bonnet obviously.
Yep.
The offside headlight has got a few snap tabs.
Okay, so we
don't have the plastic welding together again, so we need to replace them.
Okay, new headlight.
Engine management lights on. We plugged that into the OBD reader, and it's the lambda sensor bank 1 and 2 is coming on, so got 2 lambda sensors, and hopefully we're all good with that. 2 front tyres come up in this last MOT, 4 advisory, that wasn't a fail, but we'll replace them, and they've got to sell a car.
Anyway,
so,
continue.
2 front tyres, again on the MOT it was the ball joints and tack rod ends come up, so we'll replace the full control arms, we might as well, they're cheap enough to do. Instead of wasting time grinding the bolts out and replacing ball joints, just control arms, tack rod ends, replace both sides, we'll never replace one. We'll put a full service kit on it.
Yep.
It's sat for 4 years, is it sat?
2 years. No, sorry, it went off the road in 2020, so 3 years.
Yeah, it was 2024, so
November 2020.
Three and a bit years ago off the road now. It actually starts and runs pretty good.
It does.
The oil, it looks good, and so does the killer, but we'll replace everything.
Right, we'll get it done anyway.
Actually, not too bad at all. It looks
bad.
pretty bad.
It looks pretty bad.
Half the front of the car's missing, but it's also...
Like, it looked bad before, now it looks really bad.
Yeah, it's all superficial.
Yeah.
There's nothing actually detrimental to the car that's missing. Having a walk around the car, it's pretty good. A couple of wee scrapes, nothing too deep. Most of it will polish off. There's no dents.
Oh, no, sorry, there is one here.
I think to tart the car as well, we're going to start and clean the brakes front and back. We'll grease the sliders. We're going to paint the calipers.
Okay.
Maybe. We'll see what happens.
We'll see how precious we have it.
Yeah. Kind of like
You like Fiesta?
Yeah, I like Fiesta. So, yeah, I think we'll tart it up a bit, clean it up a bit, make sure it's going to be a decent big car for someone. The inside needs a good deep.
Yeah, I think I'll be the one to crawl in there and do that.
That's pretty funky.
Yeah, I think that's probably a me job, right?
It's funky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Cool.
I'm an inside person.
Well, if you're crawling down the beach, I think I'll be inside.
That's fine.
Cool.
Yeah, apart from that, hopefully by middle of next week we should have all the parts.
Cool.
By next week, hopefully we'll be starting to put it back together again.
Awesome.
With hopefully no surprises.
So on that note, we're going to leave it there.
Yeah.
So if you want to see more, make sure to tune in next week. Obviously, like, subscribe. Yeah. We'd really appreciate it.
If you can share it.
Yeah.
It's a new thing for us. I've
Yeah.
never done
We're
YouTube.
learning. We
I've
might
never
be a
done
bit
video.
Yeah, we might be a bit awkward on camera, but we're learning.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully see you next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good night.